Welcome back. It's 12:13. This is something you're going to hear a lot about over the coming days. TikTok influencers and the business owners, they're holding their breath as many of them count down to what could be the end of the app as we know it in the U.S. This after the Supreme Court justices on Friday seemed likely to uphold a ban on the app that would take effect on January 19th. So what happens to those businesses is the question right now. Joining us, Dave Charest, the Director of Small Business Success at Constant Contact this afternoon. He has some important tips for those facing this TikTok pivot. What's the number one thing, Dave, that we need to keep in mind?
Well, I think the potential TikTok ban is another example of why really business owners really shouldn't rely on rented land for their marketing efforts. And so I think the big thing right now is to not to panic, but actually just pivot, right? Small business owners really, when you're relying on TikTok alone, you should really focus on diversifying your online presence. It's really important to remember that no single platform really should be the entire strategy that you have going on here. Now, these social media platforms, they can come and go. But what doesn't change really is that importance of building direct relationships with your customers. And so really the first thing you should be thinking about doing here if you are having an audience on TikTok is it's capture the attention that you built there and really driving people towards something that you control, like an email list or a text list. That way you don't lose those connections if TikTok ends up not being an option for you. And then you actually need to you'll need to have an email service provider, of course, like Constant Contact, to help you manage that. Secondly, I would say the thing is to take the content ideas that have worked well for you on TikTok and really look to adapt them to the other platforms. This is things like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, or even Facebook for that matter, right? The short-term video that we're seeing, that really isn't going anywhere. It's just the platforms where you're doing that stuff may change. Finally, I would say is use this moment as a reminder again to focus on your owned assets. Those social platforms are really great for visibility, but it's your email list, your text list, your website, and those customer relationships that you build. Those are really the foundation for your marketing efforts in your business. And that's where you're going to find stability no matter what happens in the TikTok space.
And that stability is of utmost importance to people who have built their businesses on 10,000 followers, 100,000 views. That's the kind of audience that you have to be able to command in order to really generate revenue from that. I want to thank again Dave Charest from Constant Contact.